Good morning. As the sun rises over Southern California, a sense of unease hangs in the air. Today, August 8, 2025, a massive wildfire, now called the Canyon Fire, has erupted near Lake Piru in Ventura County, Southern California. What started as a faint wisp of smoke on the horizon has now become a towering inferno, visible for miles in every direction. What began as a small brush fire quickly exploded, fueled by dry conditions and gusty winds. Within hours, the flames raced across parched hillsides, forcing thousands to flee as the fire crossed county lines with little warning, leaving many with only moments to react. The fire's rapid, unpredictable spread has plunged entire communities into chaos, with thick smoke darkening skies for miles. Streets are choked with cars as families scramble to escape, and the once familiar landscape is now shrouded in an eerie orange haze. Families have been forced to evacuate in minutes, grabbing only essentials as they escape the advancing inferno. Many leave behind homes and memories, uncertain if they will have anything to return to. The fire's path has moved swiftly from remote mountains into populated areas of Los Angeles County, putting countless homes and lives at risk. Neighborhoods once considered safe are now on high alert, as the fire threatens to engulf entire communities. Emergency crews are racing to contain the blaze, but the relentless advance and harsh conditions make this a dangerous fight. Firefighters are working around the clock, facing intense heat, unpredictable winds, and rapidly shifting fire lines. The top priority, public safety. First responders are coordinating evacuations, assisting vulnerable residents, and doing everything possible to keep people out of harm's way. Officials urge everyone to heed evacuation orders immediately. Your life is irreplaceable. If you are in an affected area, do not wait. Follow instructions and get to safety as soon as possible. We'll continue to bring updates from the front lines as this crisis unfolds. Stay tuned for the latest information and please stay safe. The Canyon Fire ignited on Thursday, August 7th at about 1:30 in the afternoon, a moment that would mark the beginning of a relentless battle. The first flames took hold in the rugged, isolated mountains east of Lake Piru, a region known for its steep slopes and remote canyons. These steep canyons, choked with dense, bone-dry brush, made the area nearly impossible for firefighters to access quickly. Crews faced a maze of narrow trails and treacherous terrain, slowing their every move. High temperatures scorched the landscape, while humidity levels plummeted. The hillsides, covered in parched vegetation after weeks without rain, offered abundant fuel, creating the perfect storm for disaster. Local fire crews responded with urgency, but the unforgiving terrain forced them to rely heavily on helicopters and air tankers from the very start. Ground access was limited, making aerial support essential. Despite their best efforts, the fire grew at an alarming rate, devouring weeks of dried brush and leaping from ridge to ridge. The flames seemed unstoppable, fueled by the relentless wind and dry conditions. Within just a few hours, it became clear this was no ordinary fire. The flames moved unpredictably, driven by shifting winds and intense heat, creating their own weather patterns and overwhelming initial containment lines. The explosive growth of the Canyon Fire stands as a stark example of California's new wildfire reality, one shaped by years of drought, rising temperatures, and the mounting impacts of climate change. By late afternoon, the fire was no longer just a threat to wilderness. It was now bearing down on Los Angeles County communities, its smoke visible for miles and its flames edging ever closer to homes. Emergency response escalated rapidly as thousands of residents found themselves in the fire's path, forced to make quick decisions and evacuate with little warning. In just a matter of hours, the Canyon Fire transformed from a remote spark into a multi-county emergency, forever altering the lives of those in its path and setting the stage for a long, grueling fight ahead. The Canyon Fire's growth was explosive. It started at 30 acres, but within 2 hours it had devoured over 1,000 acres of dry brush and chaparral. By Thursday evening, the fire had scorched more than 4,800 acres, with 0% containment. The fire burned unchecked, expanding in multiple directions as evening winds intensified. Light, dry fuels, and steep terrain allowed the fire to race uphill, creating a chimney effect and spotting far ahead of the main front. Ground crews struggled to keep up as the fire jumped ridges and containment lines. This rapid escalation highlights the extreme fire danger in California's peak season. Residents had little time to react, underscoring the need for constant readiness and swift evacuation. The canyon fire's speed is a sobering warning in wildfire country. Every second counts. As the canyon fire raged, officials issued mandatory evacuation orders for thousands in Ventura and Los Angeles counties. Communities like Val Verde, Hasley Canyon, and Oak Canyon were told to leave immediately. These were not suggestions, but urgent commands. In Ventura County, the Lake Piru recreation area was cleared, with dozens evacuated just in time. Authorities used a grid system to identify evacuation zones, minimizing confusion during the chaos. Evacuation warnings put another 12,000 residents on high alert, giving families precious time to prepare. The fire's threat extended to industrial and commercial areas, risking both homes and local economies. Emergency alerts went out across all channels. For those in the path, the time to leave was now. The swift, systematic evacuations have been critical in keeping residents safe. The fight against the canyon fire is a massive, coordinated effort. Firefighters from Ventura County, Los Angeles County, and the Angeles National Forest joined forces under a unified command. Over 250 firefighters are battling the blaze on the ground, cutting fire breaks and defending threatened structures. Aerial support, helicopters, and air tankers has been relentless, dropping water and retardant on the hottest spots. The steep, rugged terrain makes ground access difficult, so air support is crucial. This multi-agency response showcases California's mutual aid system at its best. Firefighters from different departments work side by side, united in their mission to protect lives and property. Their coordinated effort is the community's best hope for containment. Firefighters are battling more than just flames. They're fighting against some of the most brutal and punishing conditions imaginable. Every day on the fire line brings new challenges, testing their endurance and resolve. The fire rages in steep, rocky canyons where the landscape itself becomes an adversary, making every step a struggle. Crews are forced to hike in with heavy gear, climbing over loose rocks and uneven ground, all while knowing that escape routes are limited and can close off in an instant. A relentless heat wave has pushed temperatures to over 100 degrees, baking the earth and drying out every blade of grass. The searing heat saps firefighters' strength, making even simple tasks exhausting. Low humidity and tinder dry brush create a volatile, explosive environment where a single spark can ignite a wall of flames in seconds. The dense dry fuel allows the fire to burn with incredible intensity and spread at a terrifying pace, leaving little time for crews to react. Winds carry embers far ahead of the main blaze, igniting new spot fires and forcing firefighters to constantly adapt their strategy. The fire is so intense, it even creates its own weather systems, with massive smoke plumes rising into the sky and forming pyrocumulus clouds. These smoke columns generate unpredictable winds, whipping flames in unexpected directions and making the fire's behavior even more erratic. Crews must stay constantly alert, scanning the landscape for sudden changes and ready to move at a moment's notice. They're always prepared to reposition, racing to new fire fronts as the situation shifts, never letting their guard down. Every inch of progress is hard-won against these unforgiving elements, with exhaustion etched on every face. The combination of rugged terrain, relentless heat, and explosive fuel makes this one of the toughest firefights in recent memory, one that will be remembered for years to come. Through it all, firefighters' determination and teamwork are being tested at every turn as they push forward together against overwhelming odds. Public officials are united in their plea safety comes first. Los Angeles County Supervisor Catherine Barger declared a local emergency, unlocking resources and support for the firefight. She urged residents to heed evacuation orders, referencing past tragedies where hesitation proved deadly. Fire officials stress that staying behind endangers both residents and first responders, who may be forced into risky rescues. Early evacuation allows crews to focus on fighting the fire, not saving trapped individuals. Clear roads are essential for emergency vehicles to move quickly. Wildfires can move deceptively fast. A distant threat can become immediate in minutes. Officials urge everyone to have a plan, know evacuation routes, and leave without delay when ordered. Trust the expertise of first responders. Your life is irreplaceable. The message is clear. Act quickly and don't risk your safety. As of Friday morning, the canyon fire remains uncontained, burning over 4,800 acres. The good news, no reported injuries and so far no homes lost, thanks to rapid evacuations and first responders' efforts. Fire crews are focusing on containment lines, especially where the fire threatens populated areas. Cooler morning temperatures offer a brief window for aggressive action before heat and wind return. Investigators are working to determine the fire's cause, but the immediate priority is control and safety. Smoke advisories are in effect, with air quality a concern for vulnerable residents. Road closures and disruptions continue as communities wait anxiously for updates. The fight is far from over, but the resolve of firefighters and residents remains strong. The canyon fire is a stark reminder that California is deep in wildfire season. It burns alongside the massive Gifford Fire, which has already scorched nearly 100,000 acres. Multiple large fires strain resources and highlight the growing intensity of fire seasons. August and September are the most dangerous months, with dry vegetation and heat waves creating a tinderbox. The canyon fire shows how quickly disaster can strike, turning a remote spark into a major emergency. Every Californian must be ready, have a plan, a go bag, and know your evacuation routes. Stay informed through official channels and don't underestimate the risk. Preparation is essential. Complacency can be deadly. As hot, dry conditions persist, vigilance is critical. Our thoughts are with the affected communities and the firefighters risking everything to protect them.